Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're in Uttoxeter in Staffordshire, where we'll be taking a look at the former Churnet Valley Railway line which ran to Macclesfield via Leek. We are at Uttoxeter station, which is on the Crewe to Derby line. This used to have lines which ran to Stafford, and then one to Burton-upon-Trent at Hatton and Tutbury, and then the line as we're following today to Macclesfield, as well as to Ashbourne-Buxton. As we can see, the station is still open to passengers. Sadly, the station buildings are long gone, but it's still open. So we'll now head off to find the site of Uttoxeter Dove Bank station and see what remains. So around here is the site of Uttoxeter Dove Bank station. This was one of the original terminus of the Churnet Valley Railway into Uttoxeter until 1882. Then they extended the line to where the modern day Uttoxeter station is. Dove Bank was closed alongside Uttoxeter Bridge Street station and Uttoxeter Junction station when they all merged and just opened the one station which we went to earlier. As we can see today, two roundabouts, Derby Road as well as Uttoxeter other roads, all converge here where the tank has gone down and the cars coming up. This is where the site of Uttoxeter Dove Bank would have been, but as we can see by modern road alignment and development in the area, the railway is long gone. No trace of it remains. The only clue to the railway's presence, if original, are these fences. And there we're facing towards where the line towards Leek ran. As we can see, as we come down here, back to the roundabout, we encounter these roundabouts and all these modern builds, as well as the Marston's pub over there. Now this is one of the biggest obstacles to overcome should the Churnet Valley Railway ever decide to re-extend the line back to Uttoxeter and link it back up with the Stoke-Derby line, because this whole area has been redeveloped. This is pretty much where it's not viable to extend back to Uttoxeter along the old alignment. A new alignment would have to be found, or they'd have to look at re-extending as far as Denstone, but Denstone is not in the plans to be re-extended to. So, as we can see, this is Uttoxeter Dove Bank station, where the Dove Way begins towards Stoke and Rocester and Alton Towers, and then we've got the A50 towards Derby and the A515 towards Ashbourne, as well as HM Prison, Dovegate. And then, like I said, we face back to Uttoxeter that way, and we face towards Leek this way. So this was Uttoxeter Bank Station. We'll now head on to the next one. So I'm standing here on the site of Rocester station. This served the village of Rocester in Staffordshire. This is now occupied by what looks like a JCB visitors centre. But as we can see today, the main building of JCB is on the site of the track bed towards Leek. And this way, then to a private drive towards Uttoxeter. So this is where the lines towards Ashbourne and Buxton went, and the line to Leek that way, Uttoxeter this way. But as we can see today, JCB have built what looks like a little centre on the site of where the station would have been. This retaining wall looks like it's the only original feature left. And this again would be another issue if they wanted to bring the line back towards Uttoxeter from Kingsley and Froghall way, because this is now built on the site JCB is. And obviously the station now is occupied by both a car park and the retaining wall to what leads to this private drive. So this way back towards Uttoxeter, this way towards Leek, Ashbourne and Macclesfield. So we'll see if we can have a little quick look around the JCB centre on the public area, and we'll then head off to find the site of Denstone station. So once again, this was Rocester station. Towards Uttoxeter, the station site, towards Leek, Ashbourne, Buxton and Macclesfield. So let's move on. From here. So we are here at the site of Denstone station. This served the village of Denstone in Staffordshire. As we can see today, the platforms survive and form the footpath towards Leek/Oakamoor. We're facing towards Leek and Macclesfield that way. And we are facing back towards Uttoxeter that way. The station house survives on the left as a private residence. A modern house has been built on the track bed towards Uttoxeter, which is another obstacle about reopening the line back to Uttoxeter. But the platforms are in quite good condition. I'm sitting on the Uttoxeter bound platform, and on the opposite side is the Leek bound platform, both of which are in good condition, with the cutting still intact, and perhaps it's not, but it looks like old ballast is still down. So there's the station house on the left as a private residence, with the modern house built there, backing off of the white garage to Uttoxeter. And this way, the trail carries on towards Oakamoor and then on to Leek. where it's been reused past Oakamoor as the Churnet Valley Railway as far as Leekbrook. So this was Denstone Station. We'll now head on to the next one. So we are here at the site of Alton Station. This is the village of Alton, which is probably worldwide known for Alton Towers Resort. We are facing towards Leek, and now the platforms are very long. They curve all the way, if I can get a good option, yeah. They curve all the way down there. As we can see, the curve still on goes. And then they end roughly past where those trees are. This was, from what I can see, one of the only station on this entire line to have the longest platforms. So we're facing back towards Leek and Macclesfield that way. And as I pan round, we've got the station building here, which can now be used for, be rented out as a B&B, and part of it's private too. It still stands, the lovely building does, and we are facing back towards Uttoxeter and Rocester that way, with this now being a footpath. Now there are ambitions, according to some, from the Churnet Valley Railway to bring the railway line from Kingsley and Froghall to here at Alton Towers. Now there's not much in the way that could stop them doing so, but as this is now private residence, it will be down to whether it will be viable, and as it's not near the site of Alton Towers Resort, the only way this would be worked is if it was used as a runaround loop / a heritage line for days out towards Leek when it's eventually opened. But they could reinstate that platform and keep this side as a footpath, or vice versa. So we'll now move on and see if we can see Alton Towers Resort. Like I say, with this you can rent it out. It is a B&B, but I'm not sure on prices. I'll have to see if I can get some examples. But yeah, it's beautiful that the station buildings still survive, as well as the platforms. So this here is the Uttoxeter bound platform, as we can see, with the building still on, and that is the Leek/Macclesfield bound platform, which is sadly in a state of overgrown, but hopefully it might be trimmed back one day and given a new lease of life. So we're facing towards Leek-Macclesfield that way, and back towards Rocester and Uttoxeter that way. So let's continue. So we are here at the site of Oakamoor Station. This is the village of Oakamoor in Staffordshire. As we can see, the platforms are still here. Now the interesting thing about this is almost like Alton in a way. These platforms here, they're not the longest, but this is the only station from what I know so far on this line which has 3 platforms, although it's only on 1 line. Now we've got the 1 platform there, then there's a 2nd, then the 3rd. We are facing towards Leek and Macclesfield this way. And then, as we can see, it's pretty much the end of the footpath between here and Denstone via Alton Towers. And if we face back that way, we're facing back towards Rocester and Uttoxeter. Now I know there are plans potentially from the Churnet Valley Railway to extend to here via the Oakamoor Tunnel, but I have no further idea of when that will be or if that will be at all, as we'll head off in a second now to find Oakamoor Tunnel. But this is, as we can see, is Oakamoor Station in quite a remote part of the village, probably one of the quietest stations on the line when it was in its heyday. So we'll go and find Oakamoor Tunnel now. So as we can see, guys, that's the southern portal of Oakamoor Tunnel, which we can see as we come through here, where the nice owners have let me quickly video. So we're facing back across there towards Uttoxeter, Rocester, and down there towards Leek and Macclesfield. Yeah. Don't think I'll see him in the daytime. No, of course not. Brilliant. How long is it?
I'll have a look it up.
So this here is Kingsley and Froghall station. This serves the villages of Kingsley and Froghall in Staffordshire, and it is the southern terminus of the Churnet Valley Railway. As we can see, the station building survives. The platforms are now in use for the Churnet Valley Heritage Railway, with carriages stored on what would have been the Leek/Macclesfield bound platform and the Uttoxeter bound platform there, with the sign and the waiting shelter. It's nice to see this building still survives and resembles its old self. So this was Kingsley and Froghall station. We'll now head on to the next one. So this here is the station at Consall. This served the village of Consall in Staffordshire, and is the second stop along the Churnet Valley Railway between Froghall and Kingsley and Cheddleton. we can see the station building survives in that, although that, I mean, that's a ticket office rather, but the railway's behind it. It's not on today, so as we can see, it still survives. The Black Lion pub isn't far either, so yeah, we'll head on to the next one. This was Consall. So this is Cheddleton Station. This serves the village of Cheddleton in Staffordshire, and this, as we can see, the station building remains. I don't believe it's a private residence. I think it's open when the railways are running. The platforms are here with some stock and everything. And towards there, we're facing back towards Uttoxeter and Rocester. And as we pan round, we face towards Leek and Macclesfield. So we can see the lines converge down there past the crossing gate and become a single track. Signal there and the speed limit. Signs, Basford Bridge Lane, and then there's the beautiful building. Now I'm going to look it up, but I'm sure these station buildings on this line, which are in use for heritage and on, are grade listed. I'm sure this is a grade listed building. I'll find out what grade listing, but I'm sure I read this was a grade listed building. So it's basically not been allowed to really be altered in any way. As we can see, we've got some really nice stock down there. The carriages are where the Leek bound platform is, the Uttoxeter bound platform being empty, and down there we can see the diesel and steam units down there. I'm not a locomotive expert, so I wouldn't know what locomotives those are, but as we can see, they're down there with the goods shed just there by that British Rail diesel station, diesel train. And then we pan back here to Cheddleton Station building. So this was Cheddleton. We'll now head on to the next one. Oh, sorry, hidden feature back there. The waiting shelter and the water tower. So, this was Cheddleton. We'll now head on to the next one. So down there is Leekbrook station. This served the small village of Leekbrook, just on the outskirts of the town of Leek in Staffordshire. This is where most of the branch lines in the area on this line came and went. So in other words, this is where you could alight for services to water houses, onto Hulme End and Hartington, the Leek and Manifold Light Railway, and then obviously the Leek-Stoke line via Endon and Fenton Manor. So we can see the station building is long gone, but the signal box survives. What looks like a little waiting building does next to it. Then we got the one platform which would have been the Leek-Macclesfield bound platform, but as we can see the Uttoxeter bound platform is long gone. You can't access this as this is privately not authorised for the public to use or go to unless it's a lighting while the trains turn round towards Leek. But as we can see it survives, and if we pan around here under the bridge we have the tunnel back towards Cheddleton and Uttoxeter. As we can see the rails split into one to go through the tunnel, then they become two again as they come out under the bridge. As we see, we face towards Leekbrook station, and this is where our journey on the Churnet Valley Railway ends in terms of heritage for the time being, as we'll be heading now into the town of Leek to find the old station site. So this was Leekbrook, let's move on. So we're here at the site of Leek Station. This served the town of Leek in Staffordshire, known as the capital of the moorlands in Staffordshire. As we can see, a Morrison's supermarket, a through road to this industrial estate now occupy the site of both the station and the track bed. Towards the car park we are facing towards Macclesfield, now occupied by Morrison's car park, garage and other developments. If we pan back around, we face towards Uttoxeter way. As we can see, an old bridge crossing the original railway alignment still survives there. There we go. But sadly nothing remains of any, there's no trace of anything of the railway here, other than the old track bed and the fact this is where the original station used to be, of course. So this will bring us now halfway on to this part of the line now, the Churnet Valley line from Uttoxeter to Macclesfield, Leek being the halfway stop. So we'll head on now to the next one. So this is Rudyard Station. This serves the village of Rudyard in Staffordshire. Rudyard, best known for Rudyard Lake. And is now in use for the Rudyard Light Railway, which takes this around Rudyard Lake and back to near the site of Cliffe Park station, back here to Rudyard. And as we can see, they preserved it. There's quite a nice few locomotives down at the end there, which are there with the adjoining track. We can see them. There we go. Down there, the Leek and Rudyard Railway. So this was Rudyard Station. We'll now head on to the next one.
Checking on Charlie. Well, thank you very much. Fast asleep. Yeah. Problem with them is because all the people throw the stuff to the door. Yesterday. Yeah, we did. I'm back to the fine.
So this here is the site of Cliffe Park station. This served a very rural area just between Rudyard and Rushton Spencer in Staffordshire. I believe this was a private station for a nearby private estate. I'll do some more digging into that, but as we can see, the track bed under the bridge carries on towards Macclesfield. Pretty much comes to the end of the trailway. And if we pan back across, we face back towards Leek and Uttoxeter. And that's also back towards Rudyard Lake, where we were earlier for the Rudyard Lake Light Railway. As we can see, it's in a very rural, sparsely populated area. But the bridge over there, I believe, was a farmer's access point, or private footbridge over the railway line. But I'll have to do some more digging on that bridge. But it is either that or a private road to the estate when it went over the railway, before this road, which is now here, was even here. As we can see, it remains here, but nothing really remains of any of the platforms or station buildings here. So this was Cliffe Park station. We'll now head on to the next one. So that is Rushton station. This served the village of Rushton Spencer near the Cheshire and Staffordshire border. As we can see, the station here survives as a private residence. The track bed forms a footpath over there, but you have to diverge off briefly in front of the building to get back onto it, where that fence and gate are on the right. As we can see, the building stays proudly as a private residence. This is it to say. The platform for Macclesfield is now incorporated into the guard. Excuse me, I repeat that. The platform for Leek and Uttoxeter is now incorporated into the garden, and the Macclesfield bound platform now is still visible, but partly is both in the garden and on the Staffordshire County Council Rushton Special Car Park, or Rushton Spencer Car Park rather. But as we can see, there's no way you can see the station fully from the back, but you can see the front, which is lovely. So this was Rushton station. We'll now head on to the next one, Rushton. So yeah, that's the station site now. So that is the site of Bosley Station. This is the village of Bosley near the Staffordshire-Cheshire border. As we can see, an industrial unit now occupy the station site. Only the station master's house survives, and according to what I read, it was demolished after closure of the line. It's interesting to know. According to the chap, he said the railway used to run here, down the road, and then it would carry on down there towards Macclesfield. So you'd be facing Macclesfield that way and Leek and Uttoxeter that way. So only the station master's house survives around here, but sadly a lot of this is now abandoned. As I showed you back down there, I think those are old railway cottages or something. So yeah, it's so yeah, apparently those cottages are abandoned because not much has been told about to me, but apparently there was something to do with the police and trespassing. Who owns what? So according to what I read in the news, in 2015 an explosion happened here at Bosley, known as Bosley Mill. 4 people tragically lost their lives who worked at the mill, and as a result the area has since been cordoned off following the explosion and the aftermath. According to the local workers here, they told me that these buildings were abandoned and the mill because there's still an ongoing investigation into the cause of the explosion at the mill nearly 7 years ago, and as a result since then there has been no use for either these old houses or the office mill we see on the right. So that there is the site of where the mill explosion happened. The old offices to the industrial estate now lie abandoned and in a state of disrepair. And we face back towards Bosley Station over there in the horizon on the distance. So this is the site of North Road Station. This is the village of North Road, pretty much between Cheshire and Staffordshire. This is where the Churnet Valley Railway left and came on to the line towards Macclesfield. As we can see, nothing remains of the old station today. And station. So So we are here at Macclesfield Station. This serves the town of Macclesfield in Cheshire, and this is where roughly the Churnet Valley Railway pretty much terminated at when it was still active up until the 60s. Macclesfield, located between Manchester and Stoke-on-Trent, as well as, of course, Chester, large town in Cheshire East. As we can see, the station survives, with the lines through here used for Manchester and other destinations. So when there used to be a station called Manchester Hibble Road, which used to be the original terminus of the Churnet Valley Railway line, but when that closed, they diverted all services here to the modern day Macclesfield station up until the closure of the line in the 60s. So we'll go and find the site of Macclesfield Hibble Road Station, and we'll call it a day on the Churnet Valley Railway line from Uttoxeter to Macclesfield via Leek. So down there is the site of Macclesfield Hibble Road Station. This was one of 3 stations serving the town of Macclesfield in Cheshire, England, and was the original terminus of the Churnet Valley Railway from Uttoxeter via Leek to Macclesfield. As we can see today, the station site is long gone, redeveloped. The lines to Manchester curve off to the left, and the station site was roughly around here, where those diggers are on the track, and that, well, looks like an old, like a scrapyard or so, with the little tractor moving around, but nothing remains of the station site. So there were 3 stations in Macclesfield. The modern day one we visited, this one at Hibble Road, and then the one on the line to Brook, Higher Poynton, and then on to what's that called? Rosemarple. Yeah, Rosemarple. But these 2 stations are long gone, with the current station being the only one serving the town now. So this brings an end to the coverage of the Churnet Valley Railway line from Uttoxeter to Macclesfield via Leek. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, share and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with my latest videos. And from Macclesfield in Cheshire, I shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.